ค่ะ I ask is thatช่วงพิธีเปิดอย่างเป็นทางการก็แล้วกันนะคะสวัสดีค่ะนะคะสัทยาไกรขุนทศวันนี้ขออนุญาตรับหน้าที่เป็นพิธีกรนะคะแล้วก็ขอต้อนรับทุกท่านเข้าสู่งาน Blooming in Crisis and Uncomfortable Truth in Myanmar งอกงามท่ามกลางวิกฤตและสัจจะแสลงใจในเมียนมานะคะวันนี้ก็ดำเนินมาก่อนวันสุดท้ายแล้วนะคะเดี๋ยว exhibition ของเราจะมีต่อไปจนถึงวันพรุ่งนี้โอเควิวซอน นี่นะคะเดี๋ยวสักครู่หนึ่งจะเข้าสู่ช่วงของ panel discussion เนาะแต่ว่าอันดับแรกนะคะจะขออนุญาตนะคะเรียนทุกท่านนำทุกท่านเข้าสู่ช่วงของพิธีเปิดนะคะgreeting all of our friends and distinguished guests who are here today. Today is the a day before the final days of our exhibition, so you still have another chance to come and visit the exhibition here tomorrow. But we have a very interesting lineup today. After this really wonderful music performance by the artists from the two countries, and now we're all proceeding on to a panel discussions, and we'll wrap up by a film screening at the end of the day. But first of all, before we kick started with our panel discussion, may I invite our opening ceremony who will come here and deliver the opening remark, our representative from AJAR, Asia Justice, and please welcome our country manager, Alaric. มีช่วงนี้นะคะเป็นช่วงของพิธีเปิดด้านนี้เลยนะคะส่วนใครที่ต้องการจะฟัง translation ภาษาไทยนะคะเรามีอุปกรณ์ด้วยเนาะมีพี่ซูมด้านนี้นะคะสำหรับมือให้กับล่ามของเราด้วยนะคะสามารถรับอุปกรณ์translation สำหรับ Thai translation you can get the device at the entrance because our panel discussion will be delivered in English นะคะขอเสียงปรบมืออีกสักครั้งหนึ่งค่ะให้กับ program manager นะคะของเราด้านนี้ค่ะจากอาจารย์ค่ะ
Minglawa, good afternoon, everyone, and thank you all so much for being here today. And first of all, I would like to warmly welcome all of you to this event and to this Blooming in Crisis exhibition. And on behalf of Asia Justice and Rights, I really want to thank our partners, Sam and Amnesty International Thailand, and the artists and everyone who worked so hard to make this happen. Because this is not just about putting the arts on the walls, but this is about creating a safe space for memories, for story, and for connection. So, because through this exhibition, we hope to bring the reality of Myanmar a little bit closer to all of us, to here in Thailand and even beyond. Because there is a real danger today that the world starts to look away. And because the military junta is trying to present an image of normalization, and they even staged a sham election at the beginning of this year. And they are now trying to tell the international community that everything in Myanmar is going back to civilian rule and the stability has returned. But we all know this is not true. We know that prisons are still full, and airstrikes still fall on villages, on schools, on hospitals, and on religious buildings. And we know that people are still being displaced. People are arrested, tortured, and even killed. So the crisis in Myanmar is not over. It has simply become less visible to those who not to want to look. So when we talk about Myanmar today, many of us, the Burmese people often start our story in the same way. We always say back then. Back then, we only have ordinary worries, like we complain about traffic, about deadlines, and about many other small things. But back then, some of the people we left were still standing next to us. And back then, our dreams felt close, possible. But now when we talk our story, we start with back then, because some people are no longer with us. Some dreams do not exist anymore, and some happiness is gone. But back then it's not only about loss and sadness. Back then is also about remembering who we were and why we are still here. So, yep. That's why this exhibition exists. This exhibition is about our stories and why people are, people's courage, people's resistance, and people's care for each other. And yeah, that is why this exhibition is called Blooming in Crisis. Of course, blooming does not mean that the crisis is beautiful. It does not mean that the pain of the people of Myanmar is less real. It means that we, even under pressure, even under repression, even under violence, we, the people of Myanmar, still find ways to live, to resist, to create, and to protect each other. And yeah, we see this in many ways. We see that teachers who still teach even in their displacement, doctors who still treat even when they are not allowed to, and yeah, the society who still share food, shelter, and hope even when they have almost nothing, and artists who still paint, sing, write, and tell their stories. So here in Thailand, this exhibition has another layer of meaning, and many of us here in this room came to Thailand because we had no choice but to leave our homes. We came to Thailand as students, as artists, as activists, as workers, as families. And we know that living in exile or displacement is never simple. We know that sometimes there can be the real tension between the societies and the migrant communities. Those fears shaped by the fear, economic pressure, and politics. So, but here today, on behalf of the Myanmar community in Thailand, I want to say this clearly. We are grateful. Grateful for the space to breathe, grateful for the safety, and grateful for the friendship, partnerships, and solid film and the conversation. I hope that we take a moment to look back not only what we have lost back then, but also what we are carrying forward. We are carrying memory, we are carrying each other, and we are carrying our stories. So once again, thank you for being here today, and thank you for your solidarity, and thank you for keeping Myanmar stories alive. Jesu de Mae.
Thank you so much, Allery. And that was Allery, country manager of Ajar Burma program. That was a wonderful opening remark. And now, allow me to introduce our panelists and also our wonderful moderator who are already here and now เดี๋ยวเราจะเข้าสู่ช่วงของเวทีเสวนานะคะขออนุญาตนะคะแนะนำค่ะเวทีเสวนาของเราในวันนี้นะคะชื่อการโยกย้ายถิ่นการปราบปรามข้ามชาติและความเป็นหนึ่งเดียวกันระหว่างเมียนมาและไทยหลังปี 2021 นะคะ and now we're proceeding on to our panel discussion under the theme migration, repression and solidarity between Myanmar and Thailand after 2021. May I first introduce our moderator today, Polly Devers. ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆด้วยค่ะ Please. And joining us online อาจารย์ลลิตานะคะดรลลิตาหานวงศ์ค่ะขอเสียงปรบมือให้อาจารย์ลลิตาด้วยนะคะวันนี้นะคะ Also, next up, may I introduce Nin Chue Sin Lai, Head of Policy and Advocacy for the Gender Equality Network Coordination Unit. There she is. Okay, thank you very much. And finally, last but not least, may I introduce Dr. Salai Wani Bawi, Myanmar researcher, joining us on the panel. เสียงปรบมือด้วยนะคะ and once again นะคะสำหรับใครที่ต้องการบทแปลภาษาไทยนะคะเพราะว่าการเสวนาของเราจะดำเนินเป็นภาษาอังกฤษนะคะเพราะฉะนั้นถ้าอยากได้บทแปลภาษาไทยตอนนี้แปลสดๆด้านนี้นะคะสามารถรับอุปกรณ์ด้านหน้าได้นะคะ and now Polly over to you ขอเสียงปรบมือดังๆด้วยค่ะ
Okay, welcome everybody to the panel, Migration, Transnational Repression and Solidarity between Myanmar and Thailand after 2021. And today, as there are bombs raining down around the world, even at this very moment, I take some comfort to be surrounded by the art and to be in the presence of brave musicians, brave artists, brave activists, and it's very inspiring, and I'm very honored to be moderating this panel today. Today we're going to be talking about 3 different interlinking issues that impact the communities, Myanmar and Thai communities. First, we're going to be looking at migration and people on the move from Myanmar to Thailand. Some people estimate there could be as many as 10 million people from Myanmar and Thailand right now. We're going to be looking at why are they coming here? What's changed since 2021? What's their situation when they arrive? Next, we're also going to be looking at transnational repression, which may be a new term for some of you. So we'll be exploring what that means and what its impact is on people. And finally, while we're going to be talking about a lot of challenges, as our other speaker, as Ellery just said, we're also going to be focusing on some of the positives too. What are the ways that we can strengthen solidarity? And as the musicians were talking about, how can we improve friendships and note that we really are friends? So just to explain a bit about the panel, I'm going to give each speaker, I'll introduce them before they speak, and I'll give each of them 15 minutes to do a presentation. And after those, we're going to have one round of questions that I will ask the entire panel. And then at the end, we're going to open it up for questions from the floor. So if we can just kick off, we're going to start with Dr. Lalita Hanwang, joining us on Zoom. Dr. Lalita Hamwang is an assistant professor at the History Department, Faculty of Social Sciences at Kazakhstan University here in Bangkok. Her areas of academic interest include modern and contemporary history of Southeast Asia, with special emphasis on Myanmar. Dr. Lalita also writes a column, Thai Poprama, sorry for my accent, which means Thailand meets Myanmar, for the Matichon daily newspaper. She was an advisor to the Thai Parliamentarian Committee of National Security, Border Affairs, National Strategy, and National Reform. And she's currently also a member of the Border Consortium. And Dr. Hangwang is going to kick us off today with a perspective from Thailand. She's going to be speaking about the relationship between the Thailand and Myanmar governments, especially since the recent elections. What are the priorities of the new Thai government towards Myanmar? Who will be the key role players, and what changes might we see going ahead? So I'll pass it over to you, Dr. Hangwang.
All right. Can you hear me okay?
Yes.
It feels great and it feels weird at the same time to be here with you today on Zoom, because I'm looking at my screen with absolutely nothing on my screen. But friend of mine texted me just now, and he sent photos of me with a very big screen in front of you in the audience room, because I only have 15 minutes to talk about the relationship, the sort of a modern relationship between Thailand and Myanmar. So I'll be pretty brief and concise. If there is any question, please keep that in mind and ask me later. So I've got 3 points here. The first point is, what is the outlook? What is a broad picture of the relationship between Thailand or a great neighboring country of Myanmar? What is specifically the relationship between both governments? Now, I have been to so many platforms and so many meetings before about this, and I keep emphasizing that the relationship remains G to G, strictly G to G. Why do I say that? Because when you talk about the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, okay, let me give you a clear picture of what the security sector in Thailand is like. I think sometimes the Thai MOFA, Ministry of Foreign Affairs, they don't really see themselves as a security agency, but actually they are, and they play a very important role in Thailand's diplomacy and security, which I don't think we can separate these two anymore. So when you talk about MOFA, or even the Ministry of Labor, who takes care of immigrants and legal migrant workers that we have, and you mentioned before that we have 10 million, we probably have 10 million Myanmar people living in Thailand. I think it's a bit less, and it could be probably up to 7 million. I have a research paper that a network, and myself included, did last year on the number or counting the number of Myanmar migrant workers in Thailand, and there should be around about 6 or 7 million. But that's fine. It's very difficult to assess. It's very difficult to pinpoint how many Myanmar migrant workers are there in Thailand exactly. But anyways, when National Security Council, MOFA, and other security agencies, when they look at the relationship between Thailand and Myanmar, of course, it's always government to government level. If you ask people from the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, it is their priority to solve anything, to go after any solution with Naypyidaw. I totally understand that our immediate neighbors are no longer Naypyidaw. You know, we have our Karen friends, we have Karenese, we have Shans, Mons, and some other ethnic groups around. But in the minds of the Thai government, it's still going to be G to G. And this is crucial in trying to understand Thailand's diplomacy towards Myanmar. I think in the last less than 1 year or so, 6 months or probably 8 months or so, we have seen what I like to call a diplomatic advancement when it comes to Myanmar. And this is purely my observation. I understand that Kun Siyasak, the current Minister of Foreign Affairs, he's really interested in humanitarian assistance, and I believe that his focus and what he would probably call his expertise are actually Myanmar, and that's one of the reasons why we have seen so many, well, not so many, but a few key official visits from Kun Siyasak himself on the 8th of December last year, and a couple of days ago when the commander of the Royal Thai Air Force visited Naypyidaw. Now, I understand that so many questions have been asked before. Oh, why would Thailand go to Naypyidaw? What's the point of interacting with Naypyidaw? But I think somehow we need to come back and think in terms of what the Thai government think and what would the Thai government do to try to solve Thai problems when it comes to Myanmar-related issues. Let me give you an example of the commander of the Royal Thai Air Force visit to Naypyidaw 2-3 days ago. I think the rationale behind this is very simple, because Thai villages have been very heavily affected by airstrikes in Karen state. And despite the fact that Thailand, through the Third Army Area and border task forces, have been sending letters to, to their immediate regiments in Myanmar, but no response has been made by the Myanmar side. And this is one of the reasons why these official visits have become really crucial in initially trying to get back to Naypyidaw and trying to get Naypyidaw to understand that Thailand needs Naypyidaw to be held responsible for everything that has been going on in Myanmar and along the Thai-Myanmar border. Next, I like to say another thing, that Thailand's interest in Myanmar has always been economically driven. But increasingly, security has become a key aspect in dealing with Myanmar. And this includes labor, this includes border security, environmental as well. I'm not so sure if I'll have time to touch upon environmental issues that we are facing at the moment due to so many crazy and illegal things that are going on in Myanmar, the exploitation of natural resources, trade, and so on. If you have followed a bit of news about Thailand and Myanmar relationship, you may have come across another event which I find really interesting. It was just a meeting. It was just a conference organized by TBAM. TBAM is Thailand-Burma Economic Association, something like that. Yeah, they just had a conference, a meeting that they discussed what to do with Myanmar and how Thailand can go back to Myanmar after the election. I'm not going to go so much into detail, but you can have a look at these events that I mentioned. As I said before, priorities that Thailand has put towards Myanmar, and I think it has become much clearer after Kun Sihasak became the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Business and border security must go together. I believe that this is something that Thai MOFA and National Security Council have been trying to focus upon. If you have followed Facebook posts by many military regiments and brigades along Thai-Myanmar border from the Thai side, or even the Royal Thai Army themselves, you may find a few lines underneath pretty much every Facebook post, something like, Thailand does not intervene in anything related to Myanmar's domestic affairs. Yeah, I think that this is the pain point. This is something that we need to emphasize on, and this is something that the Thai Army is really sensitive about, because oftentimes, Naypyidaw sees security sector in Thailand. They have accused Thailand of helping EROs, of trying to interact more with EROs, which I find absolutely natural because these are our neighboring countries, right? And I really don't think that Thailand should fret about this accusation. I think that it only makes sense that Thailand forges stronger relationships with EROs and, political parties like KNU and whatnot. There is a very interesting question on trade routes nowadays. Because of the closure of AH1, AH1 is now impossible to go through. Well, it's still impossible, but I think it's getting more and more difficult. And Thamadaw and the Myanmar government does not want Thailand or ELOs to use this trade route anymore because they find it difficult to gain more profits from AH1. So I think what's going to happen short term, mid-term, and long term is Thailand is going to try to open more trade routes with Myanmar, with Nepido's approval. And one of the pioneer trade routes is going to be in Ranong Kothong route. Now, I was also asked to talk about recent developments in Thailand regarding Myanmar migrant workers and Myanmar people living in Thailand in general. I believe that there is one aspect that we really need to talk about, and that is the recent law to allow refugees to work. Now, please do not be too excited about this. I am a little bit excited about this because this is something that is new to Thailand. As a Thai person, as someone who has experience working with security sector in Thailand, I think that the first step is always the most difficult one for Thailand. If the first step is taken, then the rest is fine. And one thing that you have to keep in mind when it comes to Thailand, the Thai government in particular, is when there is a problem, when there is an agenda, and there requires a good collaboration, among all sectors, among all stakeholders in this agenda and in this problem. The most pressing question is who is going to host this? Who is going to lead, right? And I believe with the recent news of the Thai government allowing refugees to work. Now, when it comes to refugees, it's sometimes you think that refugees are more affiliated with MOI, Ministry of Interior. But it's not like that, because I had an experience working in the Thai parliament, particularly in this Committee of National Security and Border Affairs. I understand before this law came about, a lot of stakeholders, Ministry of Interior, Ministry of Labor, even the Thai Army, and a lot of people had to come forward together and say, okay, this is the way forward and we must work together. But it's always difficult in Thailand. So I really hope that in the future, we won't have to think about who's going to host this, who's going to host that ever again. Everybody should come forward and co-host this together, as long as it's good for our, friends and families in the refugee camps. Now, one last point I like to mention is what is a shift? Can we say that there is a shift that occurred after 2021, and particularly after the election? What is Thailand going forward together? Not together, sorry. What is Thailand going forward when it comes to Myanmar? I have never seen any development from the Thai side towards Myanmar for a very, very long time. I talked to a good friend, a good source of mine, and in the last 10 years or so, and this is not from me, this is not my verdict. My source says that this is the time that he feels more positive about what's going to happen. Well, not in Myanmar per se, but the relationship between Thailand and Myanmar. So why does he think that? I guess that's because you have seen more developments of people or government officials and Thai government leaders going to Myanmar. I know that this is not liked by a lot of people, but somehow you need to allow the Thai government to interact with Myanmar. And I think that it would be a great way forward if Thailand could just come up with a solution that Thailand could literally talk to everybody. And yeah, I have a lot more things to talk about, but my time is up. And yes, I look forward to the next round. Thank you.
Great. Thank you for keeping exactly to time. And I just wanted to ask a few follow-up questions, just very simple questions. I think you mentioned at the beginning that the relationship, you describe it as G2G. so government to government. And then, so that presuming the Thai government is talking to the Naypyidaw government. I was just wondering, and maybe this is naive or hopeful, is there any chance that the Thai government would speak with the National Unity Government? You also mentioned that they're speaking to EROs. What do you think the level of engagement would be, the Thai government with other actors in Myanmar?
With EROs 100%, task forces along the border, they have to, by default, interact with EROs. Yeah, and I understand that they know each other very, very well. And there are so many unofficial ways that they communicate on a day-to-day basis. You know, if you follow news in the last couple of months, you have seen the height of violence in current state, right? I don't need to mention that, but let me put it very clearly that there is absolutely no way that security sector along the Thai-Myanmar border would not talk to EROs. You know, they have to talk, and oftentimes people from EROs themselves, some of them were born in Thailand, some of them live in Thailand. You know, so the border between Thailand and Myanmar is actually very, very blurred. But the situation with NUG is a lot more different. As far as I know, again, from another source, Naypyidaw doesn't really care so much if Thailand speaks with EROs, because at the end of the day, EROs are Thailand's neighbors, immediate neighbors, right? But they care so much about the fact that Thailand would talk to NUG. I don't know so much how far or what progress Thailand has made towards having a discussion with NUG. But as far as I know, I understand that the Thai military, for example, puts NUG, they do not put NUG as their top priority of conversation or any discussion.
Thanks. I have a million questions for you, but maybe just one more. You mentioned that your source thinks there's more positive, might be a time of more positive change or relationships between the governments. And I'm just wondering, how high a priority do you think Myanmar is for the Thailand government right now? Like, has it changed? Is it a higher priority, or is it, there are so many issues that Thailand has to deal with? How important is the relationship with Myanmar right now?
Number one priority for Thailand right now is definitely Cambodia. And I know this for sure, that I try to talk about Myanmar on the media and elsewhere. I just try to talk as much as possible so that could get to policymakers that Myanmar is still relevant, and Myanmar requires our immediate attention as well. But for so long, last year was a year of Thai-Cambodian conflict, and the security sector in Thailand, they could not concentrate on the two fronts at the same time. Okay, so you could see that all the attention.
Sorry, we lost you.
Sorry, did I lose you? I lost you, but I came back. Oh, okay. I'm not sure I was where, but let me try to reiterate of what I just said now. Myanmar is not Thailand's priority at this very moment. It might be, how and when, I don't know yet, but I know for sure that Thailand has become more and more interested in Myanmar as the confrontation with Cambodia has died down. But one thing that everybody needs to bear in mind is, you know, in terms of the military, in terms of security, it's possible for anybody, for any country in the world, to have two conflicts on the two fronts at the same time, right? So now that the conflict with Cambodia has subsided just a little bit, I don't know what's going to happen myself. So you see more developments, you see more, I don't know, enthusiasms from the Thai government's point of view to try to do something on Myanmar. Like you have seen more visits lately. You have seen more news that Thailand is trying to frame a new diplomacy, and particularly when Kun Siyasak announced that he wants Thailand to be a moderator or to be moderating on any peace process in Myanmar. Yeah, so I think it's not Thailand's number one priority at the moment, but it's still very, very relevant.
Great, thank you. That's good news, or it's nice to hear that it's still a priority. And thank you for sharing the perspective from a Thai perspective on the panel. And I hope the audience and maybe the people online can keep their questions. And if Dr. Lalita can stay with us till the end to so we can ask her more. And now I want to shift to our second panelist, Dr. Salai Vani Bowie, and I believe he's prepared a PowerPoint. So if we can just take a minute to put that up. Dr. Salai Vani Bowie is a Chin anthropologist from Myanmar, specializing in ethnic, traditional, and cultural studies in Southeast Asia. His research focuses on conventional masculinity and cultural identity among Myanmar's ethnic communities, with expertise in Chin ethnography. He holds a PhD in social science from Chiang Mai University and has conducted extensive fieldwork in Myanmar's mountainous regions. So today, Dr. Bowie is going to be focusing on transnational repression, with a special focus on its impacts on activists and people from Myanmar that are living in Thailand. So without further ado, I hand over to you.
Thank you, Polly, and also thank you for joining us today. And I think this topic might be very new for some of us here, because this one is also very new for me as well since 2021, because this is one of my piece of work, because I have been working in different fields, but this is my interest after coup happened in 2021, and I have been studying in three groups, especially on the experience of repression from like state authoritarian Burmese military regime, and also the people who are struggle in Thailand. And next slide, please. Okay, transnational has been very broadly discussed about how authoritarian regime has used the power to oppress the people, especially who are opposed them in other countries, especially in Thailand or in other refugee host country, sometime in Malaysia and sometime in India as well. This is very interesting topic, how I have been focused on only three categories. The first one is about politicians who are flee from fear of atrocity in Myanmar. And the second, my study is about activists who are living in Thailand. And the third is more about the journalists, because a lot of report has been mentioned about TNR in the short, and TNR, especially in Thailand. You can see some of report has been produced by Photography Right. They also talking about how young Myanmar people has been facing TNR through recruitment in Myanmar. And that is, they also produce about the report. You can follow on that as well. And next slide, please. And when we are looking back to the study of the TNR, you will see these four elements. You will see in many authoritarian regime has been exercised, not only in their country but also outside the country. That's why transnational repression is not happen in their own country. It is mostly focused on beyond the border, and you will see like the first disappearance case. You might hear about some of disappearance news. Some of politicians flee to other country. Not only that was happened in Myanmar, but also happened in Thailand as well. And the second one, you will see like manipulations of the institution to arrest some of the people from, from other country, and to arrest and deport back to the host country. This kind you will also read from some of Bangkok News Post also mention about these kinds of things. And the third about is mobility restriction. A lot of the people has been, revoked about their passport, and many of the politicians who are exiled to other country, they cannot continue to travel and they cannot mobilize to any other place. And the fourth one is more about threat from a distance. Because some of our people, especially in Myanmar, activists, politicians, journalists, are still, their family are living inside Myanmar, but through social media or through civilian, they also can threat. If someone is speaking publicly or sharing about their opinions about Myanmar politics, that also can, the family also can face threat from the military regime as well. These four things has been happened not only in Myanmar, but also in different authoritarian regime as well. Next. And my focus, I has already mentioned in the earlier, most of political activists, political activists has been facing about monitored by the state, especially through social media or the news. And the message is very clear, they are very in danger because they cannot get any passport, or they have to flee from the home country to another country. They has been facing very challenging to get the passport. And some of the politicians, I have been interviewed, their passport has been cancelled by the military regime. And this is really risky for the people to mobilize, and this is very important to focus in terms of Thai-Myanmar. And the second, we can see obviously in the Myanmar case is CDMR, who are opposed against on coup data, and they disagree to work under the military regime. That also, you can see a lot of medical doctor, teacher are fleeing to Thailand. And all this has been, difficult to get because difficult to get any document. Particularly right now, the Burmese military regime has restricted about their CI identification process working in Thailand, because the military has been always updating about the national ID card, and national ID card has been mentioned, the full of information, and a lot of CDMR are struggling to get their CI in Thailand. And then this is very difficult for the CDMR to mobilize and live in exile. And the third one is migrant worker, because sometimes migrant worker is not directly related with under oppression, but nowadays, because you will see a lot of migrant worker has been struggled to get their passport, because sometimes the passport in Myanmar right now has been issued by Myanmar military regime in Bangkok or in Thailand, because some of the passport has been stamped that only for Thailand, because after you have that kinds of passport, you cannot travel to other country or other place. That has been strongly restricted for the people who has working in Thailand as well. This has been always day by day facing by a lot of Myanmar people that we can see and we can learn. Next, please. That's why, what is the impact? the impact is very clear. We have very limited protection, especially what my study focus in 3 area, because legal protection that is very challenging for politicians and also in the activists. And the second one is the silent, because when the coup happened in 2021, a lot of the migrant worker, politicians who are exiled in abroad or who are living in other country are quite active to support and engage with political affairs inside their home mother country. But after, the military has been strictly restricted on passport, also use the power to discuss with foreign, the country, a lot of restriction have been happened for migrant worker who are working in outside the country. Even those humanitarian support, they are afraid to involve in these kinds of things and afraid to involve in the humanitarian as well. The third is a lot of Myanmar people, including me, we still have a lot of trauma. We feel trauma, but we cannot, you might not see my face, but sometimes we are so much frustrated about our situation and we are very much, feel the trauma and we cannot manage on it. That is also happened on the impact of repression. Repression is not directly from Thai government, it's from Burmese military has been, try to control through the beyond the border, and that's why physical safety is really important, especially because when many of the some of my case in my research, some of politicians has been arrested and some has been deported back to Myanmar. You might see in the 45 right report has mentioned a lot on how the migrant has been arrested, because how the new generation, especially on the conscription law, has affected a lot of new generation from Myanmar to recruited in the military. But a lot of people has been flee to Thailand, but they did not have any of legal document. They has been arrested, they has been deported back to Myanmar. And sometimes it has been directly, even those Thailand did not directly engage, but it still has been impact on the Myanmar people, and how this repression has been imposed by Burmese military through conscription law, but many of young generation has been arrested and deported back to Myanmar. Some of the activists has been killed. You might see in some of case happen in Mess Up in 2024, and some of the people has been killed along the border. One day has been deported back to Myanmar. That's why this is very risky, and no one has been really focused to discuss about TNR, because TNR is the things we have to understand how we can get involved to help each other, particularly in Thailand, because Thailand has been always our close friend to help each other. And a lot of people, we cannot get a passport, and it is another challenge. And the third is more about collective action is really needed, how Thailand can help us to solve the problem together with our safety. Finally, my point is more about emotional well-being to help each other, because I'm very much appreciated about Sam, and also how Thai new generation has been come up this idea, and the solidarity of the Thai Myanmar is really needed to help each other, even though we cannot solve the whole problem of two countries, but we can solve the problem safety and the well-being of Myanmar people in Thai society. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you. You've been under time too, so if I can ask just a few more follow-up questions. If you could talk a little bit more about the digital aspects of transnational repression, or what digital surveillance, or what kind of impact that has, or how that plays out.
Digital civilian, sometimes it is very difficult to trace, because some of my interviewee, they has been always watched through digital civilian, especially, like many of the human rights activists, because they also use uh, Facebook for the campaign and political activism in Thailand. They has been always watched, but when like I have been traveled to India because I was asked by Indian immigration, and they no power. Hello. Hello. Okay. Hello. Hello.
This one.
Yes. Because like sometimes information has been always what I have been informed by some of my interviewee that because their information has been shared to someone inside the country, or because a lot of the Burmese intelligence also living in Thailand, and they has been shared through all the information, particularly through on the civilian, on the digital life. And that was when I have experience in India. Like they are asking, do you know this person, that person? And then it is quite, like frustrated and quite, like interest for me that how do they got all these people has been, like known by different, like immigrations or authority in different country. That is, I'm quite curious. But some of my case when I did a research is like mostly they has been followed by the Burmese spy inside Thailand. And that kind also can be seen in when we are going into the Myanmar embassy, whenever you want to get some of recommendation, and the embassy will ask if you are study from here and there, and do you know this person, that person, and they also have the picture. And then that is like obviously followed by like digital life and how civilian have been working in Thailand.
Thank you. And maybe I'll skip that one. I think you spoke about institutions and how transnational repression, an aspect of that is trying to influence the institutions here and the host country. So I don't know if you feel comfortable saying anything more about that, or we can skip.
Maybe I might not directly speak about what is my case, but I will address some of case. You might hear about some of case because I'm always following on TNR since 2024 and 2025, because this case has been happened and also mentioned in Thailand and some of Thai news, because you will see like some of the case from Ucha, how do you spell it? From Muslim from China, right? There has been weaker Muslim has been deported back to China, because when you are looking about this case, you might see only that case in institutionalized and institutional cooperation, but we don't know exactly about how the institutional have been traced to some of politicians. Because I can share a very small piece, like one of my case has been studied and interviewed that, like he has been like he has been stopped by Thai immigration in the airport, and then they are not allow him to, even though he just transfer through Thai airport, but he has been stopped and he has been, like deported back. That case I have been follow, and then he is quite surprised because how did they know I'm joining in the CDM? Because even though that is very early, the Burmese military did not really have mention about how they are operating and oppress on the politicians and also activists. But he also very surprised, like when he has been checking about his name in the immigration system, they show them, because you are not allowed to, fly to transit. That's why this case also happened, and we don't know exactly how much, two country has been agreed upon, like the activism to oppress in, in other country. Thank you.
Okay, maybe we leave it at that, but that is a hallmark of in other countries around the world, right? Okay, thank you very much, Dr. Bowie. And we'll move to our last but not least, our panelist, Nin Shui Zinline, will be speaking today. She's a prominent, as currently serving as the head of policy advocacy for the Gender Equality Network, GEN, Coordination Unit. She specializes in policy advocacy, digital space activism, and promoting women's rights. We're very happy to have you here today. And she'll be speaking about the status of Myanmar women in Thailand. What are their reasons for coming here? What's the situation that they arrived to? And maybe if you could speak a little bit about how migration and how women's experiences have changed or are changing since after 2021.
Okay, thank you very much for giving me this opportunity in this wonderful event. I will try my best to address your question, but I'm not so sure. So, Myanmar migrants in Thailand actually is not a very new phenomenon, right? Cross-border migration between Myanmar and Thailand have existed for centuries. Border communities have long shared trade, language, culture, and family ties for many, many years. But as you all know that over the past 4 decades, the movement is increasingly shaped simply not by choice, but more by crisis. So after the 1988 pro-democracy uprising, thousands fled military repression and economic collapse. The pattern repeated after the Saffron Revolution in 2007 and Cyclone Nargis in 2008 and throughout the decades of armed conflict in ethnic areas. Each crisis pushed more people to leave. Each wave of repression expanded the migrant population. This is not new. So Thailand gradually became more than a neighbor. It became a refuge, a workplace, for many, the only viable future. So before February 2021, millions and millions of Myanmar nationals were already living and working in Thailand. We are aware of that. The official estimate is around 2 million at the time. Many were undocumented at the time. Women are, unquestionably a significant portion of this population. But like Dr. Lalita mentioned before, it is really hard to estimate the exact number of Myanmar women migrants here in Thailand, because many are undocumented, many move in and out of the registration systems, many work in informal sectors that are not fully captured in official statistics. Their invisibility in data, like Dr. mentioned, often mirrors their invisibility in the protection systems. But we need to clear that Myanmar women migrants in Thailand, they are not marginal actors in this story, because they are garment workers in factories, they are seafood processor in coastal provinces, they are domestic worker caring for private households, their daughters sending remittance home, their mothers sustaining entire family. In many cases, they are primary breadwinners. So before 2021, if you look at the push and pull factors for their migration, you can find it pretty diverse. Women left their home country because of armed conflict, forced labors, loss of livelihood, and chronic economic insecurity. So they moved to Thailand because of the opportunities in Thailand, though it is not, it is challenging because they are offered with comparatively higher income and relative stability. So for Myanmar women, migration was a strategy for survivor and dignity. Then you already know, February 2021 began. It happened. It changed everything. Previously, it is more economic migration, but it transformed into survivor migration. Political persecution in the country intensified, armed conflict spread nationwide, the economic collapsed, inflation soared, livelihoods disappear almost overnight, fear become daily life. So migration after 2021 has been fundamentally different in skill and urgency. Again, in 2024, forced military conscription. It added a new layer of terror for Myanmar women. Not just for themselves, but for their family members. So because initially, this forced conscription targeted young male, but it later extended to young female. So family who have already endured years of instability suddenly face the prospect of their children or their family members being forcibly recruited into a brutal conflict. So another wave of our movement. Like Dr. Lalita mentioned that today in Thailand, it is approximately 6 to 7 Myanmar migrants in Thailand, maybe the largest Myanmar diaspora population in the world. So since 2021, hundreds and thousands of people have crossed irregularly. Many arrived in Thailand undocumented, exhausted, indebted, and traumatized. So, but Thailand remains the most accessible destination for Myanmar people and Myanmar women because of geography, established migrant workers network, and a relative affordability. For many, it is the only realistic option. So at this moment, it is important for me to express my sincere gratitude to Thailand and its people. Although there are immense pressure, Thailand has allowed millions of Myanmar nationals to stay, work, and survive. So it has provided opportunities, assistance, and compassion in countless ways. For many of us, Thailand has been a place where we can breathe when we could no longer breathe in our home country. So this generosity matters deeply. But crossing the border does not necessarily mean crossing into safety. For Myanmar women, it started the beginning of new struggle. Because a significant portion of post-2021 migrants are undocumented, because of the reason they fled urgently. So without documentation, they are invisible. They are again invisible in the legal system, but highly visible to exploitation. Many migrants and women, they live in precarious housing situation. Many work long hours in unsafe conditions. Some receive wages way below legal standards. Some experience document confiscation, restriction on movement, like Dr. mentioned before. But their vulnerabilities are not only economic, but they are deeply gendered. Myanmar women face sexual harassment at their workplace. They are vulnerable to domestic violence and sexual violence. They face trafficking risks and exploitative recruitment practices. And patriarchal norms, they carry from home and reproduce in the host country, migrant communities, silence many survivors of violence, for sure. Because speaking out can mean losing employment, losing shelter, being blacklisted, or being deported. So their vulnerabilities are layered and intersecting because they are women, they are foreigners, they are migrant workers, and many are undocumented. So their undocumented status brings a constant fear, fear of arrest, fear of deportation, and fear of retaliation. So it significantly limits their access to basic rights like education, healthcare, and also justice. For the survivors of violence, especially those who are undocumented, access to support services and justice is often nearly impossible. So recently, we are aware that the crackdown on a transnational scam operation. So it has intensified the scrutiny of Myanmar nationals living in Thailand. So why combating crime is legitimate, but ordinary migrants, including women, often experience increased suspicion and anxiety as a result. So the atmosphere of uncertainty much deepens. So here I like to highlight a bit about the because we need to recognize the inequality even within the migrant community itself. Because for women, those who have resources, especially financial resources, education, and strong social network, they can manage these challenges a little bit better. Yeah. But for young, undocumented, those with limited Thai language skills and no connections, their vulnerabilities multiplies dramatically. So their status as workers, as women, as foreigners intersect to create structural insecurity. So in many aspects, things have worsened since 2021. So the skill of irregular migration has increased, economic precarity has deepened, forced conscriptions continue to push youth outward. The conflict inside Myanmar has remained unsolved. So international attention on Myanmar issue fluctuates, but the daily reality for migrant women remains fragile. So Myanmar women in Thailand continue to carry the economic, political, and gender consequences of the crisis that did not begin here, but whose impact now stretches across the border. So their stories is not only one of vulnerability, because it is also one strength, resilience, endurance, and responsibility. Many Myanmar women migrants in Thailand, they hold their families together across borders, sustaining two countries at once. How wonderful they are. So what they ask for is recognition, protection, access to rights and dignity. I believe this is a call that deserves to be heard. So this is the one I like to highlight about Myanmar women migrants in Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you very much. You have answered all of my questions and very eloquently as well. So maybe just to ask more detailed about what the changes in how women are coming to Thailand. Are they coming alone, or are they coming together with partners? Are they coming, you mentioned that they're holding their families together across borders. Are they also bringing their families with them? What kind of impact does that have?
So the pattern is pretty diverse because some they come alone, some they come with family. Family means for the sake of their family members, maybe their brothers, their husband, and also some women, they come to Thailand for the sake of their children. Because the prospect, like I mentioned, the prospect in the country, it's unpredictable and pretty fragile. So women, so every parents, they hope the best for their children, right? So, but the education system, the infrastructure, everything collapsed in the country. So they want the best for their children, especially in terms of education and better future. So for some women, at the very stage of their migration, they come alone. So to maybe assess or explore whether it is possible or feasible for them and their family to live in Thailand. Because for us, yeah, it's definitely Thai is a foreign country for us. So how can they survive? They need to explore. This is the first reason. So many women these days, what I've heard is they come to Thailand for the sake of their family, especially for their children. And the second is for the safety and security of their family members, especially male. Because of the especially it is true, especially after 2024, forced conscription started. So they have concern for their younger brother, older brother, their husband, their father, something like that. Because in the country, forced conscription, even though it mentions that the age limit between this and that, so the actual practice is totally different. That's why they want to move here. And for some women, like the how can I say, historical reason for economic migration, because a lot of companies, especially international companies, they move out of the country. The job opportunity is pretty low in the country, so that's why they want to look for a better future here. But another thing is for a political reason. So we cannot ignore that. Dr. mentioned a lot about this, those who joined the civil disobedience movement, those who are, publicly protesting the military junta. We do not have we have no other choice. We have to move out of the country, either Thailand or, any other country. So migration pattern is pretty diverse these days.
And maybe just I know in Myanmar, there's a very strong network of women's organizations that were historically providing services to women and survivors. When women arrive in Thailand now, are they able to, what kind of services can they access? Are there women's organizations here? Is it easy for them to find them? Are they able to access Thai organizations? What kind of support? I know it's hard, but what kind of
hard? It's hard. It's really hard because many there are a lot of migration to Thailand, including the members of civil society organizations, because of the scrutiny and surveillance, and also persecution for us. So, but here in Thailand, there are the skill they can operate is pretty limited. But in addition to this, most of the organization, even though they relocate to Thailand, their work mainly focus for those who are living in the country. So those Myanmar migrants who arrive in Thailand, their the skill they can access to services is still limited. So their accessibility to Thai civil society or Thai organization, it's quite questionable because I have experience with one of Myanmar migrant. She is a student here. She faced intimate partner violence, and also she is violated on the digital space. So both the perpetrator, the alleged perpetrator, and the survivor live in Thailand formally. Formally means they came here to study, so formally. But when she experienced such kind of violence, she tried to reach out to many different organizations, including Myanmar Civil Society organization. It's really challenging. Even I try to coordinate because a friend of a friend reached out to me to help. It's really hard for me and them to get the necessary support services because they are living, like I say, legally, formally in Thailand. So they try to, go. They want to report the case to the police station, but the first is language barrier. The second is they don't understand how the system work in Thailand, and the third is maybe the perception of people, like because the survivor and the alleged perpetrator, they are both Myanmar national. So this is your problem. You have to solve it in your own way because there is very limited thing we can do. So that case, even though she tried to get justice, but it is impossible. Even for people like, with the formal documentation, quite social, they have like, with quite relatively average social status. But for undocumented migrants, you can imagine. And also, the case, these kind of experience are more precarious in the border cities like Mesot, because many of migrants there are undocumented. We've heard a lot of incidents about domestic violence. Both the perpetrators and the survivors are Myanmar national. They both are undocumented. So access to service and access to justice is not possible. So it's really heartbreaking to see and hear these stories. But for Myanmar members of civil society organization who are working for Myanmar people, what they can do is very limited as well. They try to coordinate with Thai civil society organization to support service, to support the survivor, but the scope they can do is very limited. But recently, that challenge is multiplied because of the funding volatility. It's for sure. We cannot ignore that. So yeah, this kind of situation happen. It's really heartbreaking.
It's really difficult. And I think this question, thank you very much for your input. And that question kind of moves us to the next session where I'm going to ask a question for the whole panel. And I really want to shift away from the challenges also to ask the panel to think about possibilities for how to strengthen the services, how to strengthen the solidarity, and maybe what can the Thai government do? What can ordinary people on the ground from the Myanmar community, from the Thai community, what can they do? Also, there's a lot of CSOs and NGOs in the room, what can they do to build solidarity, to increase protection, to prevent, to lower tensions or even prevent violence that could happen in the future? What could be possible? So I ask each of the panelists what are some of their ideas, and I can give you one by one. Who would like to start?
Dr. Lalita want to start?
Okay, Dr. Lalita, would you like to start?
Okay. Since I'm the first speaker anyway, so it would make sense if I start first for this round. I guess I have a few aspects I'd like to share with you. One of the biggest problems that I have seen in terms of Myanmar migrant workers and Thailand is from the fact that there are so many, as this panel has mentioned already, that there are at least 6, 7, sometimes 8, if you will, of Myanmar migrant workers of all of all races in Thailand, and there is no organization that represents Myanmar. This is a bit vague. Let me be very clear. So let's say that a migrant worker from Karen state has some problems in Thailand, let's say in Mesot, Mesariang, and whatnot. They can probably seek help from NGOs, CSOs, Karen CSOs working in those areas, in those provinces and districts. But when a Burma person has any problem in Mesot, I find it really difficult to find somebody or to find an organization, that represents Burma people. I mean, I sound weird, right? But I've been in contact with CSOs who actually represent Burma people in Mesot. I think that this is something that NUG probably has to consider, because if NUG really wants to represent Myanmar people, especially Burmese migrant workers in Thailand, they should be more active. And they, in my words, they should act a bit more like CSOs rather than talking about political agendas exclusively. Because political agendas for me are very difficult, and I don't see any possibility that the Thai government would officially open a real dialogue with NUG anytime soon, unless they show themselves that they're ready to do something and to contribute to their people living here in Thailand. Now, let me, because I'm the only Thai in this panel, so I can talk about the rise of ultranationalism in Thailand. The Kun A, the moderator, she's into this one as well, and some other audience in the room would be very interested in hearing this. This is getting pretty bad, actually. And every single day, if you have followed updates, news, Facebook posts from some of these ultranationalist pages, you would find them really, really disturbing. And when I talk to my Myanmar friends, I like to portray them, these Facebook pages, or these movements, as the Thai version of Mabata. Of course, it's not that bad. It's not as extreme and radical as Mabata, because they don't use like super strong and vulgar words like what happens in Myanmar, right? But this is not to downplay the possibility of this ultranationalist movement in Thailand to become more influential. I understand that there are a few points that they always claim, and correct me if I'm wrong. Thailand still exercises labor law, especially Article 8, that prevents foreigners to do, certain jobs, okay? But this law hasn't been updated in decades, and I mean decades, since the days of Premier Pibun, after the Second World War, something like that, So basically, foreigners cannot be hairdressers, they cannot be shopkeepers and stuff like that. They cannot even own a rickshaw, they cannot ride a rickshaw in Thailand. And I have found increasingly this network claiming that Myanmar migrant workers have violated Article 8 from this law. Yeah. And the second point that I have found in common that these pages have been trying to raise is they try to claim that Myanmar migrant workers are violence prone. Violence prone meaning that they always fight among each other. You know, the most recent case, I just read it somewhere this morning, that there were cases of young Myanmar boys. I'm not sure which race he comes from, but he had machetes, he had knives, he had even guns with him. And if you remember, some time ago, maybe in January or in December, I'm not sure, there was a case where there was a Myanmar boy, 22, 23 years old. He shot a Thai police officer. Okay, and that made headlines in Thailand, and it kind of infuriated a lot of Thai people, especially people living in Mysore. Okay, I think it would be very, very important for anybody or any organization in Myanmar working on Myanmar migrant workers in general to think about a long-term solution. I'm a pragmatic person here. So I don't feel like the question of, oh, how do we create solidarity? How do we bring people together is the right way to talk about, to tackle this problem in Thailand, because the impact is real. You know, people have been arrested for real. People have been sent back to Myanmar for real. So we need to talk about a concrete solution right now. And I cannot talk about this when I don't mention one of the most pressing and upsetting scenarios in Thailand, and that is local corruption in Thailand as well. This country, despite the fact that Thailand houses a lot of migrant workers from Myanmar, it's by no means perfect, meaning that there are people who take advantage of you. There are people who take money from Myanmar migrant workers. So sometimes they are protected, by paying 300 baht per month. They can be protected. If they want to ride a motorbike, they could pay 1,500 baht per month, and they're fine. This is not the way this is something I find really depressing. Of course, when you pay a one-off fee for a month, you're good to go. But this is not a long-term solution, and I would highly recommend that, I don't know, a group of caring people from Myanmar and elsewhere would come together to try to think about a long-term solution for everybody living here in Thailand.
Okay, over to you, Dr. Bowie or Nin. Which one?
Yeah, like Dr. Lalita mentioned, actually, the situation is really complex, the situation. And like Dr. Lalita mentioned, yeah, we are aware of the nationalist movement of Thai people. And I know to a certain extent that there is a widespread hate speech against Myanmar people by Thai people, that Myanmar people cause problems and issues in Thailand. So yeah, solidarity, the term is really beautiful, but the actual how we can do it is quite complicated, because the underlying causes and among other factors, it's really hard to get one. Like Dr. Lalita mentioned, yeah, I'm aware that there are many Thai people who regard Myanmar people come to Thailand to cause problem, to rob their jobs, and to get better wages and status like that. But it is for me, it is not the case. It's not the case mean, because I understand why people moved to Thailand. Because people from Myanmar, we are fleeing insecurity and instability. So this is, and also from the aspect of Myanmar people, I think this is also our responsibility to respect the host country, their laws, their culture, and the people. Yeah, but I do not say that all Myanmar people are good, because people are pretty diverse. They are good people, bad people, and also different perspective and different social status, different education background. So people are pretty diverse. But most Myanmar people, so they are trying their best to be the good guest, right? So this is one thing. The narrative. That's why I think a few months ago there are some situation in, I don't remember the city itself. There are two Thai. A group of Thai and a group of Myanmar, because a group of Myanmar worker, attack a group of Thai. So that's why there was some retaliation actions. So that's why the Myanmar community there, they have to do some kind of campaign like, we are peaceful guests and we don't want to cause any problems. But yeah, that kind of action de-escalate the tension. So, but yeah, the civil society organizations, the Myanmar people itself, we need to be aware of the situation, what is happening in the country itself, and we are in foreign land, and also sometimes for Myanmar national like me, I found I don't want to say, I don't know how to express it, but the laws and policy and the practice in Thai, they change from time to time regarding Myanmar national, and also this is somewhat related to the scam. They are tackling to scam operation. So these days it's quite hard, but yeah, then the issue of undocumented migrants is a huge burden for Thai government, I understand. But like I mentioned before, I just want to highlight that the nature of migration, the reasons of migration, to understand. So, and that's why, is it possible for Thai government to create some kind of affirmative action towards undocumented migrants? Because nobody wants to be undocumented, right? Nobody wants to be informal. Nobody wants to be invisible in the system. So that's why, how about more? They have like pink card or something for registering undocumented migrants, but that procedure, for me, I don't understand, honestly. So most of the undocumented migrant, they have to register in that kind of system through the brokers or some kind of agents. So along the process, they are being exploited, they are being scammed. Even though they pay a lot of Myanmar migrants, they pay a lot of money to the brokers or agents, they do not receive that kind of formal documentation. How can Thai government give clear and transparent information so that Myanmar migrant have more accessible to this kind of system? So being registered or being documented, it would create another scenarios for not just for Myanmar people, but also for the Thai government, how to manage this kind of problem, how to create positive and constructive environment for those who are taking a refuge in their country. So this is what I'm thinking about. But I also want to highlight about the services for the undocumented migrant, especially for the survivors of violence. Because of their undocumented status, they have to risk, they have to the chance of being deported and the accessibility to services. How can Thai government and also Thai civil society organization navigate this challenge, especially for the undocumented migrant? Because I'm working in this field, so my thought and my opinions also wander around this kind of area. So this is just a few points I like to highlight. Thank you.
Well, this is very heated issue about recently, like conflict happened between Myanmar society and some of Thai people in Thailand. But it is very difficult to define, like how it has been erupted, and how it has been continues on the process, or whether this is really sponsored by someone, or it is just like erupted by some of very Thai nationalists, some movement leader. Because this is very interesting for me is I always watching these kinds of Facebook, or some of news has been posted by Thai Facebook user, and also some of Myanmar migrant worker, or some of Myanmar migrant leader has been always talking about this issue. But what we can be very clear that this is also remind me about how repression is no longer within Myanmar. That also can be happen in other country as well, because I'm always looking from repression perspective, and especially before these kinds of case has been happen, and I'm trying to look back to the how Burmese nationalist monk Mabata has been coming to Thailand and meeting with who. That is my interest starting point, where these kinds of case has been erupted. And that's why, like when I'm looking back to this case, I try to understand before this period, like how the people are mobilized, how the information has been constructed. But on the other hand, these also, like they cannot directly attack or have a problem with Burmese migrant here, but they also have to construct some of narrative and story to, like oppress against on Myanmar migrant people as well. That's why I did not have a very, like clear understanding yet and the situation happening right now. But in case of my study, especially or TNR in Thailand, I have been proposed, and this is just my understanding in my study, is about possible solutions still remain on action in 3 level. The first one is the state, how Thai government can, like protect and, ensure the safety of Myanmar people. Is like Thailand must hold non-refoulement principle. That means should not be deported back to Myanmar people who are trying to get help from Thai, because we are coming not to make a problem with Thai. We are asking and request the help from Thai people and also Thai government. And that's why I'm not sure how this can be possible in the policy level, but these people can be protected through humanitarian like program, or a kinds of like the identification process. I'm not mentioned directly on the CI. CI is still very problematic to identify Myanmar people still through their national ID card. But Thailand can facilitate on that one in the government level. And also sometimes we also face not only a lot of undocumented people, even those we have legal document, we still face a lot of like pressure from Thai immigration as well. That's why, like that enforcement, like immigration enforcement must not be used as the political pressure to act as well. That's how the Thai government can manage and can help us in the process. And the second thing in the civil society, because like Thailand civil society and Myanmar civil society can collaborate together on legal assistance program. Because when I have been conducting the research in 2024 to 25, because I saw a lot of case that has been quite struggle of the politicians and also activists in Thailand, and they has been like threat by some of the community or through civilian like threat. But like they cannot get any help, especially when they are detained or like they has been arrested by Thai authority as well. That's why like in this case Thai civil society and Myanmar civil society can come up together to establish on the legal protection together, and also right education, especially in many of Myanmar people after 2021. They have been hurry up to exile to Thailand and flee to Thailand, but we don't know exactly about what a legal system of Thailand. That we cannot only blame to Thai, why we cannot follow on the community rule, because we have lacks of knowledge. But both society, Thai and Myanmar society, can establish on education program, because that will be very helpful for Myanmar people and to understand about Thai culture and Thai people. Because when I have been living in Thailand more than 10 years, and I have learned that Thai people are very much like quiet, and like sometimes even though they have enjoy in the music, but they still quiet on their voice or something. But when you see some of Myanmar people, 2 or 3 there, is so loudly, right? That also, whether we are adapting on Thai culture into it, or we are still exposing, to a noising of Thai community as well. These kinds of social rule and norm should be learned, and both, civil society can work together. And the third one is more about now what is happening right now in the community, like the conflict between like nationalist group and some migrant, and a lot of misinformation and disinformation also split out in the social media. That kinds of social media also, like Thai and Myanmar community can work together and explain what is happening and how we can, like trace and how we can mitigate about the situation. And we can share information, and we should not be split these kinds of misinformation, disinformation to the public in the social media as well. And last not least, in the individual, we must reject rumor, because we don't know exactly, because sometimes when I see the news and I try to understand where this news come from, and I try to understand who is writing about, who is exposing about this news. Thai, like nationalists, but also a lot of Myanmar nationalists also expose these kinds of news a lot to, like extending a lot of hatred speech among each other. That's why we should reject rumor and also online incitement, because we should not really follow and just trust on the, like what is rumor happening in our community. That is what I can see. And I believe that like Thai society and Thai Myanmar society can come up together with some of solution, especially in dialogue, not only discussion of the discussion of migrant issue, but also discussions on the security and protection for other, the people who are undocumented in Thailand. Thank you.
Thank you very much to the panel. I gave you a difficult question, and I really appreciate your pragmatic approach and that you tried to find solid and concrete ways to move forward. To some of the challenges like corruption are long-standing, intractable, and I've made a list of over 20 different ideas. Just some of the ones that I wanted to highlight is, I think what most of you spoke about is the documentation or the pink card system, making that more transparent and preventing corruption within that, so that the people know clearly how to use the system and fairly be treated within it. How normal people and CSOs can de-escalate tensions on the ground or respond or monitor hate speech online. Also at the legal or at the policy level, halting the deportation of people back to Burma, and CSOs from Thailand and Burma working together to increase knowledge about legal protection for people in Burma, so people become aware of their rights, and also working together on services for survivors of violence. I'm inspired, and I think Nin said it well when she said, for many people from Myanmar, Thailand is more than a neighbor. It's a workplace, it's a refuge, and it's the only viable future. So I think people from Myanmar in Thailand for a while, and yeah, so I really appreciate, I hope that there can be more individual policy level and between CSOs to build solidarity and solutions. And yeah, thank you for your patience. And I just wanted to, before we close, open the floor to any questions from anybody from the floor. Okay. Oh, right. Okay, great.
I will go open.
We'll get one.
Hi, my name is Oliver, and I'm second year student from Thammasat University. So I'm very glad to ask these panelists, honorable panelists, about the Myanmar migrants, especially Ajahn Lalita. I'm so glad to see you today because I usually see your interview in the podcast, and I'm really inspired to you. And then my question is to you. Recently, Thailand has had elections, and then the Conservative Party won the election. However, there is some of the parties election voter front. So and then most of the people agree that the constitution will be amended or will be written again. So my question is, Thailand is usually communicate with the Myanmar Bureau government, as you said, and how to say. So in the next several years, how does the constitutions of Thailand can affect to the Burmese migrant people? Because right now it's won by the Conservative Party, right? So most of the things will be, agreed from the Conservative Party. So what is your opinion about that as a professor from the Faculty of Political Science? Thank you.
Okay, maybe we'll take, if there's another one, we'll take a couple more and just, hey, I see one back there. The white shirt.
Great. Hi, my name is Patui, far a long way from the university, long time ago. Again, the question also to Ajahn Lalita, actually from one Thai to another. As you already mentioned that we see some kind of the light in the tunnel with this new leadership of the Minister of Foreign Affairs, Kun Sihasak. So I just want to hear from you, how could civil society really go to him and kind of push the issue through, because he definitely put hearts and mind in humanitarian support. He definitely put Myanmar in the center of his interest, right? But then at the same time, as you mentioned, that right now all the lights shining through the Cambodian borders in Thailand. So I really want to hear a little bit more on how you would think that civil society space could push the issues of Myanmar and Thailand, solidarity per se, or economics, or other issues up there on the table, and make sure the one who has Myanmar right into his heart really push the issue up for the Myanmar people in Thailand and the Myanmar people in Myanmar. Thank you.
Great, thank you. And I think there was one other question on this side.
Hi, my name's Cole. I'm from Chicago, Illinois in the USA. I first want to say to all the panelists, Kap Kun Ti Shuenina Ka for helping me understand, being very ignorant about the challenges faced in Myanmar. I had a question for Dr. Bowie, is that correct? For Dr. Bowie, when it comes to the transnational repression and the study that you and the research that you did, we briefly touched on the digital side of it. So being a descendant from, you know, African, the enslaved, and coming from the South, I can easily see what repression looks like. You don't really have to train your eye for that long, but when it comes to the digital space, I know that's still evolving. So to get to my point, I recently saw maybe at least 2 videos from, I would just say, maybe travel influencers visiting Myanmar and showing parts of, I'd say, the indigenous individuals living in, I'd say, rural part of Myanmar. And I'm not familiar with the tourism industry in Myanmar, but just from your personal opinion, I know we're still studying it. How, and as an activist at home, I believe that you can do both by showing the beauty of a culture and also highlighting the challenges that they currently face. But in those 2 videos, I did not know that there was a coup, right? So I only saw them interacting with them in their culture and such. So how would I, just scrolling, if such, be able to tell what is, if this is more of a repression, you know, of ignoring what is actually happening in Myanmar versus highlighting the culture, trying to put it, like trying to put more of them in the front. We're all propagandists, but there is a form where they're not mentioning what should be done, and so I would consider that as a form of repression, even if it is just highlighting it but not telling the full story. So
Thank you. I think we'll hand over to Dr. Lalita first and then Dr. Bowie.
Sorry, I didn't quite get the third question. But I will answer the first 2 questions first. These even for me are extremely difficult. I mean, for the first question about the constitution in Thailand, and from the fact that together with the election, we also had the referendum to draft a new. Surprised that this has received very little attention compared with the general election per se. And then the election fraud, which is too complicated for me to answer you in the next couple of minutes. Okay, let me answer you in terms of the constitution. Now, if you know the background of the current constitution, it was drafted 9 or 10 years ago by Prayut's regime. So therefore, the purpose and the crux of the constitution is not for the people, but it's basically how to protect the status quo of somebody else, of the establishment basically, and Prayut's regime. I'm pretty positive about the new constitution, but I don't think that it will be as good and as collective and inclusive as the one of the best constitutions that we have ever had, which is now. It will be hard for me to convert the Buddhist era into the Christian era, but that constitution that I like to mention is the People's Constitution of 2540. in Buddhist era, you just have to deduct it with 543, and you get the Christian era. But anyways, that was the constitution that the people of Thailand still talk about. It was drafted by a group of people who were elected directly by the people. For this one, I'm not so sure. It's not going to be as nearly as perfect as that one, simply because there have been so many state mechanisms that have been adjusted right now, especially the Senate, especially many agencies, including the Election Committee of Thailand and many others. So I'm positive about this, but I'm not too optimistic about what's coming when it comes to the next constitution. Now, constitution is broad, yeah, and when something has to be interpreted or reinterpreted, that requires the Constitutional Court, which is another agency that is highly controversial in Thailand's recent political history as well. I think what should be done and what should happen right now is that there must be some amendments in terms of labor law. And I totally agree with the two speakers that Thailand needs to come up with something like we need to register every Myanmar citizen living here in Thailand, especially migrant workers. I mean, this is not for us per se. It's not for Thailand per se. It's for the sake of welfare. It's for the sake of well-being and protection of migrant workers living in Thailand, not just Myanmar migrant workers, but pretty much everybody, right? Because when people are not registered, when they are nobody here in Thailand, it's almost impossible that they could work with enough protection. I think that's the way forward. And from my experience, like I said before, the most difficult thing to happen in Thailand is the collaboration between state agencies. So let's say it's the Ministry of Labor, it's the Ministry of Interior, and it's the National Security Council, together with some other agencies that have to come forward together and agree on this agenda that, hey, this is the urgency that we come up with a plan to register migrant workers living in Thailand, not because of Thailand per se, but also because we need to protect them. We need to offer whatever we have, because these people are the greatest assets that Thai economy has as well. Okay, for the second question, regarding Kun Srihasak, I cannot answer you on his behalf, but from my experience having discussions with him, he's really keen on Myanmar, and Myanmar is very, very close to his heart. He has a background on humanitarian assistance. He's really keen on humanitarianism. And I think that you would be surprised how many people that he has been speaking with. I don't know, but I know that he's ready to talk. When he was the assistant to the Minister of Foreign Affairs under Minister Maris, I believe he did quite a lot, but now things have changed. And for the next government, he's not going to be only the Minister of Foreign Affairs, but he will be one of the deputy prime ministers as well. So there will be more work for him to do. But I've never ever seen any foreign minister in Thailand who has an expertise on Myanmar and who has a heart to do something on Myanmar. But for Kun Siasak alone to do this all by himself, possible. I think that what we have discussed a lot among security sector people in Thailand is the fact that Thailand seriously needs a political will to fix all the issues related to Myanmar.
Okay, thanks for your question. Especially, it is very interesting, not only from Myanmar people, but also from a lot of my friends from the West, and also some of friends who are not quite familiar with Myanmar, because even though we are under, like civil war and fragile state, but like a lot, particularly you might see that some of the blogger has been traveling around Myanmar, and how it is fun and how it has been very enjoyable to travel around in this area. And in this case, like you can follow about how the U.S. State Department, state government, and also embassy, and also in the UK embassy has announced on restricted area in Myanmar, because like that also you can see the map and explain other people, because how the map out of the people are suffer under military regime, because only a few places, especially in Yangon, Mandalay, and some part of the like the area might be quite safe, because that has been quite strong in the military operation there. But majority of the area has been quite challenged to travel around, because that map out has been produced by the uh, US Embassy, and the UK Embassy announcement is very significant, and that can explain about where is like the safety place to travel, because sometimes those blogger has been produced these kinds of thing a lot of their own reason to to remain in Myanmar, because what I can see, like they are trying to advertise a lot, but in reality they did not say what is really happened behind the scene, because they might take the photo or they might take the place for just funnable and where they can enjoy with the nature. But in reality, like they never post about what is happening, because everyday airstrike, airstrike atrocity against airstrike to the civilian people, and then those things might not be seen in these kinds of the blog has been posted in social media. That's why like we have to balance between two situation. The second thing is a lot of Myanmar activists has been produced about what is happening right now in Myanmar. Like for example, Aja has produced a lot of short documentary what is happening in Myanmar, and those things also can reflect about what is really happening inside Myanmar, because those story is not really posted by those like influential the blogger in Myanmar. That's why you can share about the story between and balancing what is happening right now in Myanmar. And also we should not be only believe on the propaganda social media space. Thank you.
So I like to add a bit about the digital tools, because it's really, for me, it's really hard to know to what extent the military junta has been using digital space as a tool for repression and also like propaganda things, because these days with the technological advancement, both the hunter side and resistance side, we rely on social media and digital space a lot. So because when Myanmar opens up to the internet, and Myanmar people are introduced very first with Facebook. Facebook is everything. We most Myanmar people, Facebook is the internet. It's not one of the social media platform. It's internet, so it's everything. That's why these days we've seen increasing skill of use of digital space as a tool to repress and also as a part of the propaganda. So, but for blogger things and something, it's quite hard to say whether it is a personal interest or a part of the propaganda too. It's really hard to say. But it's pretty obvious that the military has been using the digital space as a tool to repress people. So, but on the social digital space, the military junta, they don't want the rest of the world to see, they are losing their front and conflict is escalating. They don't want the people all over the world not to see their atrocity crimes such that. That's why they are now, for me, as far as I know, they are trying to pressure those influencers who are all celebrities who are still living in the country, to pressure them to promote their regime, to promote their things. So it's hard to say which is which. But I think a few years back, there was a travel blogger or something like that. So he went to the areas controlled by the ethnic resistance organization. He had some photos with the members of EROs there. So he was detained and he was persecuted, and he was sent back to his country. But before he was deported, he was detained in the prison for quite a few months, just because you took a photo with the members of the ethnic resistance organization. So and another thing is, I think last month there is some kind of DJ or something, Wukong, right? So he's quite vocal about the situation, what is happening in Myanmar. So he was invited to an event in Myanmar. So at the Yangon International Airport, he denied his entry into the country because the military know he was quite vocal about their crimes and the situation, what is happening. So it's hard to say who is on what side and for what interest and what purpose. It's really hard to say in the digital. But yeah, pretty obvious. The digital too is really hard for us to tackle because a lot of human rights defenders, activists, they are attacked online. Their information are being doxed, something like that. So yeah, thank you.
Great. Thank you very much. I know we're coming to the end of our time. I just wanted to see if there are any more burning questions from the floor or if any of our panelists wanted to make any more last comments. Okay. So I just wanted to say a very, very, very huge thank you to the three panelists for your input today. I really appreciate it. I started this by saying I was inspired and honored, and I feel even more honored and inspired now. And thank you all to the audience too for giving a vote of solidarity just by being here. I think it increases the solidarity, and we learned a lot about Myanmar and Thailand today. So the answers won't be easy, but I feel hopeful that slowly going in the right direction. So thank you very, very much.
เสียงปรบมือดังๆให้กับ panelists ของเรานะคะ Big round of applause. Thank you so much, everybody. Of course, we had a very fruitful and comprehensive discussion regarding the collaboration between Thai and Myanmar. I'd like to thank again Polly, our wonderful moderators, our panelists, Dr. Bawi, So Nin from Myanmar, and of course Ajahn Lalita from online joining us. All right, thank you so much. And we have a broadcast live on our social media. So if you're interested, you can also watch a playback on Ajar, YouTube, Asia Justice and Rights, and also the reporters, and also CMC Kalai Facebook page as well. And now I think we've come to an end to our event, but if you're still hang around, at 5 p.m. we have a screening of a wonderful movie. And now, please enjoy the exhibition. Once again, these are for sales and they are still available. If you're interested, please contact our counter outside at the registration table. And thank you so much and enjoy the rest of your day. ขอบคุณค่ะ